people become what you acknowledge them to be. So whatever it is that we're focusing on is going to expand. And you will have heard this before, right? If you go and buy a red Nissan, you're going to start seeing red Nissans everywhere you go, right? Because you're focusing on that. It's not that suddenly more people are buying those cars, it's that you're focusing on it. And so your vision expands. You start to see more of that type of car. So whatever we're focusing on, wherever our attention is, that's going to start to grow, right? I became a coach and suddenly I'm seeing coaching everywhere. Everywhere I look, people are talking about coaching. It's because my attention is on it. In the same way, what we focus on with other people is going to grow. So if I'm always pointing out all of the things that my partner is getting wrong, if I'm always pointing out the times where the things that I think should be done are not done, that's going to grow in my mind. I'm going to only start to see all of that negative stuff. If I start to acknowledge people for what they do, that's going to start to grow. So there's two things that happen when we acknowledge people for the things that they are doing. So say, for example, I have a team member at work and they're often dropping the ball. They're often not getting things to me on time. And I'm constantly berating them for that. That's going to start to expand. And an option that I have is to acknowledge them for the 10% of times that they do things that I want them to be doing or that are useful for the team. Wow, that time that you got that thing in before Friday afternoon when it was needed, I really appreciate that. And that's just it. That's just one example, right? But as we acknowledge people for the things that they are doing, that starts to grow naturally. Because we're always creating, one way or another, we're creating people as, you know, hardworking or not. We're creating people as efficient or not. So if I start acknowledging person for the 1%, the 10% of times that they're doing something well, what do you think is going to happen? That's going to start to grow. So not only will we create this currency of connection and of rapport between us, because I'm no longer just telling someone all the times that they're doing something wrong. I'm actually sharing the times that they're doing it right. I'm appreciating them for it. I'm showing gratitude for the things that they are doing. So not only are we going to create a nicer feeling in the relationship, but actually whatever it is that I'm acknowledging someone for is going to grow. Whatever it is that I'm speaking about them to them is going to grow. And so I'm creating. I get to choose what is it that I want to speak into the world? What is it that I want to speak to this person? You know, do I want to keep talking about all of the things that they're doing wrong and hope that something changes? When in reality, what's going to happen is that's going to grow. Or do I want to speak about the things that they're doing right? When in reality, when I do that, that 10% is going to become 12% and 15% and 18% because people feel that. People are thinking about that. Oh, thank you so much for getting that in 2 days before the deadline. I really appreciate that. It's meant that I could do this other piece of work in advance, and it's really helped me work, organize my week better. Thank you for doing that. That starts to be on people's minds. That creates a nice feeling. And now there's more incentive for them to go and do that more next time. It feels nicer than being told off for doing the things that we aren't doing well. It's something worth just giving a go, right? Don't take my word for it here. Just test it out. See what it's like. See what happens when you take 2-3 weeks and start consistently acknowledging people for the things that they are doing. Because that you might find, and you might be surprised how quickly this starts to happen, that will grow. Not only does it feel great for you, because you're now focusing on the good things, you're now feeling better about whatever the relationship is. You're feeling better about the person. That you're seeing the ways in which they are doing well. So the more you see, the more you see. So as you start to look, as you get these spidey senses up, right? As a consideration, right? Put your antennae up and just start to look for things that you can acknowledge people for. This might be in with your significant other. This might be at work. This might be your manager. Could be your family, your mom. Look for things, right? Have the radar up. I'm looking, I'm scanning for things that they're doing that I can acknowledge them, appreciate them for. So that's going to feel nice for you because as we focus on something, it expands. So I'm going to start to see more and more and more ways in which my mum is actually really lovely and she's really coming from love. Even though she gets it wrong sometimes, she really cares. She's doing these little things that actually are really sweet. She puts chocolates on the cushions on the pillows when I come and visit, like these, whatever it might be. And then she does all these annoying things, and I could focus on those. But just as an experiment, if I were to focus on the things that someone is doing well and really, in a heartfelt, genuine way, appreciate that out loud to their face, watch what happens over time. Watch how not only do I see the bad stuff less and the good stuff more, because the more we see, the more we see, but that will be caught by the other person. We don't necessarily do it for that, right? We're not doing it to get something. We're doing it because we really feel it in the moment. It's a nicer experience for us, and it's nice to be able to feel that gratitude. It's a really nice feeling. We feel better. But naturally, what will happen is the other person starts to respond, knowingly or not, in kind. So they will start to naturally do more of the things that we are acknowledging them for. You're creating connection. You're creating warmth. You're creating love in a relationship, whatever relationship that is. That's really useful currency to enable you to have the bigger, more challenging conversations that you might need to have. Think of rapport or connection as a currency. You want to create as much of that currency as is required for you to be able to address the more challenging things. You're building up that connection. So when you come from a place of, you know, oh, if you need to have a conversation that might be a more challenging conversation, you can fall back on this connection, this currency of rapport that you've already started to build. That is so valuable, so much, so important when you're actually trying to address something in a relationship of any kind, to know that you're coming from that kind, loving, cooperative, supportive space where you really do appreciate all of the things that they do. And from there, you will be much more able to create space to have other conversations about things that may really need to change. And actually, what you might find is that through doing this exercise, through training that muscle of acknowledgement and appreciation, you might find that actually things are a lot better than you thought they were. Because there will be so much more that you will see once that radar is up about how that other person is trying, what they are doing well, the things that they are achieving, the things that they are bringing to the table. That's going to become so much more apparent to you once you start looking in that direction. I hope that's useful. Take care.